Hi, sir.
Sir?
Yeah, we started. You can. Hi.
My name's Luke. I care about the environment, and last summer was very, very hot. There were lots of bushfires, but our Prime Minister decided to go on holidays instead of coordinating the fight against the fires. So about 300 of us stood outside his house, empty house, trying to get his attention. A few days later, he did come back from his holidays a little bit early to try to meet the firefighters, but he seemed to be running away from his responsibilities. That's why we're there. And a group of us, I think 11 of us, were charged with not following instructions. Some of us had the charges dismissed. I was one of them. Others have a fine to face, basically, yeah. That's it, yeah.
Okay. So on Science Day. Since they arrested you, did the police say that for what reason they put you in the jail?
I wasn't in jail. I just had to go to court, and then they were going to decide what was happened once the court. And the good magistrate looked at each case individually, decided the police proved 3 of the cases and didn't prove the other 3 cases, and they couldn't prove my case, so so my case was released. Yeah.
So is there all of you are now released or just?
Well, some of us will have a fine. The court magistrate, it's like a local judge, said she said, the case against you is proven. Pay a fine. And with 3 of us, they said the case isn't proven, so you can go. Yeah, no fine. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So did they do any physical maltreat to you?
Yeah, there wasn't any problem.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. So now you are here also to stand up for the refugees in Australia.
Yes, yeah.
So could you introduce us about this story, because I think most of the Chinese audience didn't hear this story before.
Okay, yeah. Well, in Australia we signed in 1951 a declaration welcoming refugees, but gradually the government's put lots of restrictions on it. People are fleeing for their lives, like from Myanmar, when the war zones in Somalia, seeking a safe place to live. And Australian government thinks that they're criminals or something, but all they want is to live a safe place and grow up, have a family here. And the Australian government is locking up people both here in Australia and in New Guinea, ensuring Indonesian government locks up people who's trying to get to Australia, where they're fleeing from. So our group, we want Australia to welcome refugees. My father was a refugee, fled during the war from Poland when the Germans invaded. So my father was made welcome here when he got here, and we want people now to find safety here too.
So do you think the Australian government, for what reason do you think the Australian government demonstrates the refugees here?
They want to be shown to be tough on the weak. I would like people to be, live safely, grow up, not have to be persecuted with their religion, because of ethnic background, not because there's people just fighting in the country. There's nearby Indonesia, they're cracking down on the West Papuans, and people trying to flee, seek safety from there too. Just we want people to have the opportunity to live, grow up, have a family, safely and security.
Okay. So, what do you think the Australian government or ordinary Australian citizens could do to help to improve the refugees
Okay.
situation? Yeah.
Australian citizens generally, probably most people like this, are busy on their own lives. A few are pro-refugee, a few don't like refugees. Most people don't care either way. They just want to live their own life. They want, to look after their own family, look after their own problems, but they don't worry about other people's problems. I want everyone to be able to, as much as possible, to wherever they live, to be free, to worship as they believe is true, to love, to be living safe, have safety and security, and wherever.
Yeah, cool. Thank you for talking there. We are here to protest for the refugees in Australia.
Yeah.
So what did the Australian government do to the refugees? Why you are here to
Locking them up.
Just-
years,
okay.
for 7 years.
For 7 years?
Even for 10, something for 10. It's just mad. My father was a refugee. He never got locked up at all. That was 1940.
So
What annoys me most, to be honest with you, as you're from China, the way they report it is almost nothing.
yeah.
And yet they'll have something on the Uyghurs in China, and they'll have lots of sentimental music, they'll have people crying, all of this, which is all probably true. But we can't do anything about the Uyghurs in China. We can do things about people we've locked up here and now. It's okay, an official enemy, you can report them what they're doing, the bad things that they're doing, but you don't look at what we're doing. It's our responsibility, and that's what makes me so angry. And also the Free Exchange people, they can talk to them later on. They've got an equal thing about what the media is doing, how it's controlling the issue by not reporting it, pretending they don't know the truth. There was a terrible Four Corners thing on a hatchet job on Assange. But as for these, the refugees, there are hundreds locked up, going crazy, taking their own lives. And my father, for instance, I can make it personal a little bit. When his mother finally came to New Zealand, I hadn't seen each other for about 5 or 7 years or something. The relationship had changed, and so he found it extremely difficult. He had the best circumstances. He'd found my mother, get married, children, but he found this change in the relationship very difficult. Can you imagine what it's like? Not only that, but having your life suspended, nothing to do, idleness. And all this is to give a good career for Dutton, for Morrison, and the racist fellow travellers in the Labour Party. Racist. Can you imagine this happening to European people? No. Only to non-Europeans you could do this. Impossible to imagine that you could do it to Italians or Greeks. Maybe 40, 50 years ago you could have done it, but no, you can do it to Asians and Africans. That's it. And Australia has actually signed the 51 Refugee Convention. Australia signed it in 1954. And yet, when the media reports this, when the very few occasions when they report it, very few, they never ever refer to the 51 Convention. So people have no context of which to think about this. They don't know history, they hardly know the Second World War. And we have the 51 Convention because the same thing, mistreatment of refugees happened then as is happening now. Jewish people sent back to Europe to the gas chambers. But that's gone off, that's done the memory hole. But that's why we have the 51 Convention, that's why we have it. That's why Australia signed it in 54. So actually, where are the Muslims here? There should be many here, actually, defending the right. Yeah, the Christians, where are they? I went to the Pitt Street Uniting Church. Hardly any support from them. This is the story of the Good Samaritan, really. If you find someone in the gutter, do you help them or do you just walk past? Most Christian people walking past, they don't care.
So you mean that the reason that Australian maltreat refugees in Australia is because of the religious reasons?
Oh, well, that helps because they're mainly Muslim, and they can get away with it.
Especially Muslim phobia, you mean?
Islamophobia to some extent. Maybe I wonder what have you talked to Angara?
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, you've talked to him. Well, mainly it's because it's just a distraction. It's just someone to hate, someone to scapegoat, a minority. We all know about being a minority. You know what it feels like to be a minority. People like to hate a minority. It gives them some sort of pleasure. I think you know what it's like. I think we all know what it's like. You know.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's all really. But it's the media control.
Yeah.
The media keeps people in enforced ignorance. It's also the responsibility. I don't let the Australian public off the hook at all. They should know. They do know at some level of consciousness. Like the Germans knew about the concentration camps.
Yep.
They knew. Maybe not in detail, but they knew. So, you know, and this is not a police state. People are free, but they're not free up here. They don't understand their role as citizens. That's my thinking.
So, are you volunteer to protest here, or you have an organization to make this frequently?
It's just us.
Just them.
Every Friday we come along. I bring some letters. We sign the letters.
No one provide financial support to you.
What's that?
No one provide financial support to your movement. No one.
You offering?
Yeah.
You got some money?
Yeah, I mean, because sometimes the audience see the protests on streets, they say that they are standing there for salary. They are not really for
wish.
those.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. They are not really for those.
That's how they'd do it. That's
Yeah.
how they would do it. They'd have to pay people because they don't understand that some people came out of principle.
Yeah.
They don't understand. Some people do things because they want to do it,
Yeah,
not because
indeed.
they're paid to do it. That says a lot about the people who say that.
Okay.
That they have never been part of anything they actually believe in. Only this is important.
Okay. So what do you think the Australian government can do to improve the life standard for refugees?
Stop torturing them.
Stop torturing them.
Yeah. Abide by the Refugee Convention and the Torture Convention. Look, it's not rocket science. Stop turning this into a police state by doing this. These have long-term implications for the law. If you can do this to human beings, it doesn't stop there. It can be to us. And you can see it happening. Crazy laws being passed, going through all the time. No one stands up to them. The Labour Party couldn't give a fuck. They don't care.
So where are those refugees from? The majority group of refugees from in Australia?
Well, Afghanistan, Iran.
Most of because of the war. Most of them are because of the war. They are war refugees.
I think so. I mean, you come down to that. Some African, I think, but a lot from Iran. I haven't seen it. I don't know the breakdown actually.
So
There are many thousands also living in the population.
okay,
No support.
no support.
No. Especially now.
Did the government provide any support during the pandemic to those refugees?
I don't think so.
You,
They're not citizens, so no.
they just abandoned them in.
Like being
Yeah.
a student, probably worse. Students are having a very hard time, I read.